Hour number 2 officially underway right here on Pro Baseball Today on the SportsGrid Network. Tom, it's Donnie. It's what we do every Sunday. We have that fun on the SportsGrid Network. A handicap every single game. We give you those angles that maybe you're not looking into. And as we left off on the break, Tom, we were talking about the Cleveland Guardians and the Chicago White Sox, focusing on those Guardian at-bats. When it's like, Manzardo and Arias and Naylor and Kefus and Vecchio. I mean, I can't bet on these guys. Get inside the numbers here. Things start to make some sense. Davis Martin is a right-handed pitcher. Last 30 days, he has struggled a bit here with left-handed batters to the tune of a .410 weighted on base percentage. If you look at the Guardians lineup, Tom, we don't have the official lineup today, but just an estimated look at it. Hard contact rate is something that a lot of people like to take a look at. Outside of Steven Kwan and Carlos Santana, everybody in that lineup making really good contact against right-handed pitching here. You take a look at the fly ball percentage. We love to see that, right? Lower ground ball percentages. Why? You want with the double plays. You want the extra base hits. That typically comes with line drives and in the air. I look at this Guardian lineup today, and it's not one that you would love. 90-degree temperatures with a crosswind in Chicago today. Do we get runs, Tom, from that Guardians lineup, huh?
I think we really do. And, the over 4.5, I'm seeing a minus 115, at least on FanDuel. Like I really do like that. Part of me is I've always said before, like I've always been worried about long winning streaks, long losing streaks. So I'd almost rather side with the runs than their money line. I could see them theoretically losing this game. We do have to remember Clase isn't there anymore for the Guardians. Their bullpen is just factually weaker than it was a month and a half ago, whatever you want to call it. So could they lose this game 6-5? Yeah, it's also baseball. Like they are in a long winning streak. They are due for a loss, as I would like to say. But when you look at this lineup, like you said, some of the things that we want to take into account are like they don't strike out a ton. They put the ball in play. So the balls that they are putting in play are good contact and hard contact. And Davis Martin struggles with that. So it's like it is kind of the perfect storm for us to get a good number on a good team that doesn't really have a ton of name brand value outside of Ramirez, who is a star.
And we talked about left-handed batters. This is something that Cleveland can do that a lot of teams can't do, Tom. Let's look at the anticipated starting lineup.
Hitters.
Kwan, lefty. Schneemann, lefty. Ramirez, lefty today. Manzardo, lefty. Santana, lefty. Naylor, lefty. Kefus, lefty. Vecchio will bat as a lefty. That's 8 left-handed bats against a kid that struggles against left-handers. Even if you don't love the lineup, like mathematically in your head, Tom, you go, wait, he struggles against lefties. I'm going to get 8 lefties today? I don't even care if it's me and Tom batting lefty. You just want a lefty up there? They're going to give that to you today for the Guardians.
They will, and then, they bring in a lefty out of the pen, and you still got, at least 3 switch hitters in there, plus a Rice who's still a righty. Like, you're still in a good spot to get runs across the board.
And again, we're going to take a look at some of these games as they keep moving on with some of those intriguing things. Again, 8 left-handed batters in one lineup. That's spectacular to start that game. We'll see how long it lasts. But let's switch it over to a little NL East flavor and talk about a couple teams here vying for that division. First, we're going to start with the New York Mets. We're in Milwaukee, who can't wait, I guess, getaway day to get out of Milwaukee because how hot Milwaukee is, how bad baseball the Mets are playing. Sean Manaea, the lefty, is going to be on the mound today going up against Quinn Priester. Oh, easy mismatch. I know Manaea's name. I don't know much about this Priester guy. Priester has been fantastic. Look at the total today. It's 8.5 to 8s across the board, depending where you're shopping, and mostly 8s now. But look at the line, minus 118 overnight for Milwaukee. It's still in that range, Tom, a minus 120 or so price. I just think people look at Quinn Priester and say he's not that good. He has been spectacular for the Brewers today, for the season. And I like the Brewers again today. I'll ride that streak.
So he was traded from Boston to Milwaukee in April of this season. You're thinking, okay, you're trading for a pitcher. Like, how good could he really be? Obviously, the Brewers dealing with a ton of pitching injuries at the start of the year. But you actually look at some of his numbers, and he doesn't shape up to be a dominant pitcher, quote unquote, because he has a 19.7% strikeout rate. Like, that's not like a 29% DeGrom-esque, she's going to shut you down, scheme, screwball type of pitcher. But 19% strikeout rate, 8% walk rate, which isn't great, but a 57% ground ball rate and a 55% medium contact rate. He does not allow hard contact and does not allow fly balls, which means he can go out there and he can cruise through innings. Yeah, he walks someone, induce a double play, allows a hit, double play, and he gets out of innings quickly. And the Mets aren't hitting right now, so I do not see this as a high-scoring game. I like the under more than anything in this.
Yeah, what's up with the Mets in the middle of that lineup? Last 30 days, Tom, just to get a snapshot. Pete Alonso, 237 weighted on base percentage against righties here. Brandon Nimmo, 291. Jeff McNeil, 242. Vientos, 269. And Cedric Mullins, 288. Like, you start off with Lindor and Soto, and then nobody can drive Lindor and Soto home if they are actually on base at this point. By the way, Lindor and Soto, high K rates the past 30 days against
Yeah.
right-handed pitching here. Crazy times for the Mets right now. Things just aren't clicking, whether it's starting pitching, bullpen, and or the lineup itself. Can they bounce back today? You might think so again, just looking at the name Quinn Priester, but that's not the case. He's been good here. That's roughly a pick-em today. I'm going to lean on the Milwaukee Brewers once again. Now let's continue in that NL East drive. The Philadelphia Phillies in first place by 4.5 games. Looking to run away with this division before we get to September. We'll see if that happens. The Phillies knocked down last night Jesus Luzardo toe-to-toe with Jacob deGrom for another victory and some clutch hitting by the Phillies late and a bullpen that held it down. Today, they'll get Patrick Corbin, who's actually reinvented himself down there in Texas in the second half of the season as a quality pitcher, but the Phillies are going to be the favorite. It's Zach Wheeler versus Corbin, 235 start. The Phillies overnight opened up, Tom, let's call it minus 150. We're still in that range. Minus 150s to minus 160s, depending where he's shopping at a total of 7.5. Before we break down the game, you see the name Zach Wheeler, like, ooh, I want to back that guy. But I'm always leery, Tom, if you're pushing back starts because of maybe a little bit of shoulder fatigue or shoulder impingement, no big deal, I just need a couple extra days here. They did this with him out of the All-Star break. Didn't work all that well. Yeah. They pushed him back again for Texas. How do we feel about Wheeler on the mound today? Can you trust him?
I can trust him, but it's to a degree. And it really comes down to, how would you be trusting him? Could you be trusting him for, outs or strikeouts or quarter? As we spoke about last Sunday, Donnie, the Phillies were super heavy favorites, but you took Chris Sanchez was pitching last Sunday, and you took him for a win rather than the Phillies money line, which is something I would consider today, because I don't want to go to the price where the Phillies are now. But if you can get a good price on Wheeler to record the win, that could be something. I know that may not be fully correlated with, I said, taking unders on him because he may not be going super deep into the game. But on the 27th of July, 103 pitches. On August 2nd, 98 pitches. So he's at least giving you length. And that length is more often than not very good with 8 and 10 strikeouts. So if he's in a spot to win the game, I would rather bet on his win odds rather than lay it. So I trust him if you were getting the right bet rather than going to the Phillies, even though the bullpen's fantastic. Now, I'd rather just take the best odds where I can get them.
You take a look, too, at Zach Wheeler. Last 45 days, still a great pitcher on the card. 2.70 ERA, 2.46 xFIP number. Ks per 9 innings, Tom, 12.34, which is absolutely incredible. The one thing Zach Wheeler's been getting touched up over the past month or so, it's been left-handed batters. He's faced 64 of those. How about a 400 ISO and a 485 weighted on base percentage? Almost doesn't make sense. He's still electric and lights out against right-handed batters. But if you look at the lefties in the lineup today, Josh Smith, Corey Seager, Jock Peterson, as well as Rowdy Tellez, the estimated starting lineup, so we don't have it official right now. But if you are looking at Zach Wheeler, it is a question mark, because if you're getting the best of Wheeler, it's probably a victory for the Philadelphia Phillies. But also, usually would see, wait, Zach Wheeler going up against Patrick Corbin. That should be a big mismatch. Did you see Corbin's statistics over the past 45 days?
Yeah.
Top 10 on my card today, Tom. A 3.22 ERA and a 3.59 xFIP number and a K per 9 over 9. What has gotten into Patrick Corbin resurfacing here?
Patrick Corbin, if I remember correctly, did not make a major league roster in spring training. He was signed to the Rangers a little bit later. He had not had a good few years, especially recently when he was with the Nats. But like you said, he has reinvented himself. He's keeping the ball low. He's not allowing too many home runs as he, again, historically did. And he's the kind of pitcher that, again, like Donnie, you said that the Phillies lineup can be hit or miss at times. If he can keep the ball down and sap their power away from them, this game's going to be a little bit closer than people realize.
It should be. And by the way, what was the big three in Washington? Was it Scherzer, it was Corbin, and it was Strasburg, that big 1, 2, 3? Imagine right now if you go back, hey, Washington, if you never made any changes or any trades, look how good you've been. You go back to being the Senators and probably relocate out of Washington. Go back to and do what you got to do at this point. But by the way, the strikeout numbers versus left-handed pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies the past 30 days, extremely high. Schwarber, Castellanos, Realmuto, Sosa, Kemp, and Bader. Hint, hint, at the end of the show. Could I be doing something with a Patrick Corbin prop today? Never thought I'd be saying that right now, Pro Baseball Today, but I am. More handicapping next, coming right up on Pro Baseball Today on the SportsGrid Network.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I was that confused trying to figure out why Cameron Young isn't as good as he should be, because we've seen all the flashes. Like at some point of his career, he's been elite at something. Like he's been elite at putting this year. He's been an elite iron player. He's been an elite driver of the golf ball. So check out this chart I had to get.
We got a chart.
Look at this chart that I had to come up with.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Every time he's there, he just finds a way, and he's going to break through. Look at Cameron Young. Cameron Young was one of those guys, too. Remember Cameron Young? Second in the Open Championship, fourth, like plays great in majors, almost won the Canadian Open again. I seen this guy play live. I'm like, how does this guy not have a win? And then last week, Kev, you saw what he did. He put his foot on your throat, wrestling style. He didn't just win, he murdered the competition last week.
Game time decisions, only on
Keeping it moving along here on a nice Sunday. It's a beautiful Sunday in the Northeast and a lot of very good temperatures throughout Major League Baseball. Some good hitting weather and some tomato cans on the mound, Tom Vecchio. Sometimes you open up like the laptop in the morning. Let me just get a quick profile on what I'm looking at. Sometimes you get disappointed. Like it's like most people, why are you disappointed like Wheeler's on the mound or Scooble's on the mound are the best pitchers? Because that's probably an opportunity that we won't have to take any hitter props to go against those pitchers. When you see pitchers that you figure will struggle, high xFIPs, high ERAs, really good weather, Tom, just brings a smile to your face on a Sunday or any other day that you're handicapping Major League Baseball.
It really should. These are the days that, like in football season, like you want to see scoring. Like you want to see some good scoring. We don't want to see Thursday night games that end 13-10. We want to see some scoring. We want the props to come through. We want the good pitchers to succeed, but we also want the bad pitchers out there so they give up 8 hits and 5 earned runs with no strikeouts and cashing props left and right.
Yeah, like you don't want Bijan Robinson saying, I've been a big week in my fantasy week, guys going up against the Baltimore Ravens. You want them going up against a lighter defense here. They can sort of torch some teams and get after it and have some fun. Nice little equation there from football, which there is preseason football today, but we are focused on Major League Baseball. And that focus goes out to San Francisco. How about this? Mackenzie Gore, the lefty on the mound. Struggle bust this year? Absolutely. Verlander on the other side. Struggle bust, but not so much lately here. 909, 910 on the rotation, a 405 start. Gore versus Verlander. Heavy favorite here for the Giants. And by the way, the odds market backing the Giants overnight, minus 145s. Right now, minus 155s, minus 160s in the marketplace, Tom. But as always, out in San Francisco, that total is listed at 8. Gore, Verlander today on the mound for an afternoon battle.
So of pitchers on today's slate, Donnie, over the last 30 days, since July 10th, Mackenzie Gore is arguably the second or third worst pitcher, depending on what kind of sample size you want to work with a 6.05 xFIP. And his ERA is up at 13.2. And this is Mackenzie Gore, who started off the year lights out, could have been one of the league leaders in strikeouts, the shining bright light of their pitching staff for the Nationals. And he has been terrible as of late. Now, Donnie, this is what we also talk about. The Giants don't score. They're not a good offense. Right. So we don't have that puzzle piece to match up. It's like, well, we have a horrible pitcher and we have a lineup that doesn't do this thing. Now we actually have a good pitcher who's struggling, but we also don't have a lineup that's good right now and putting runs across the board. So if Gore bounces back, am I going to be surprised? And then if the Giants offense scores, am I going to be surprised? No on either side. So for me, this game's kind of a stay away. If I had to pick, it'd be Nats money line and the under.
Yeah, he hasn't had a good season here. And, I'm going to have a pitching prop that I'm going to give out on Mackenzie Gore just a little bit later in the show. But he is better on the road. 71 and a third innings pitched this season on the road. How about a 3.89 ERA and a 3.52 xFIP number? And also, he's in the perfect pitcher's ballpark. We're not saying he's going to be great because his numbers over the past 30 days has been absolutely brutal. But understand this, too, as Tom's pointing out. When you have a bad pitcher, what do you love? Oh, my goodness, this lineup looks fantastic going up against them. That's not the Giants lineup. Like, even if you tell me Gore's last 30 days, a 348 ISO against and a 520 weighted on base percentage, that's not like 3 or 4 batters. Like, oh, it was just that reliever who had to come in for a quick at bat. That's 85 batters he's faced. He's getting tuned up at this point. But look at the ISO power numbers for the San Francisco Giants against left-handed pitching, Tom, over the past 30 days. Ramos, 105. Chapman, 0. Flores, 0. Jung-Hoo Lee, 0. Casey Schmidt, 111. Patrick Bailey, 056. Drew Gilbert, 0. Like, the only guy in that lineup is Willie Adames with a 571. That's only through 17 at-bats. So just because you're a bad pitcher, you need somebody to exploit that. And I don't know if that's going to be the case. But if you look on the other side with Verlander, hasn't been that bad as of late here. But the question is, look, we know Washington's on the West Coast. It's a lost season right now. It's a getaway day. Let's just get out of town. And sometimes that plays into it. But I think Verlander might have a chance to be not a shutdown pitcher, Tom, but 5 innings pitched, 1 or 2 earned runs, keep his team in the game. And maybe that's worth a price point here of what you're getting on the San Francisco Giants.
It could be like Verlander in terms of xFIP over the last 30 days. He's at 535 and Mackenzie Gore's at 605. So it's not like he's been dramatically better in terms of the xFIP, but the ERA for Verlander over the past 30 days is 255. He's only line 0.51 home runs per 9. So like he has been much better in recent, 17.2 innings than he was prior to that. He was bad to start the season. So again, I would take the Nats because of the plus money, because when it's all said and done, like Verlander isn't dramatically worse compared to Gore, and I just trust Gore's talent overall. But yeah, give me the Nats in the under.
Let's see what happens today out on the West Coast in a game. Look, San Francisco right on the edge of trying to make that wild card run. Stack up a win now, start to get closer to the New York Mets, and away you go. And they're a favorite today with Verlander on the mound. They should be able to pick up that victory. Let's set the table for this next one here and have some fun. 9-11, 9-12 in the rotation, a 4-10 star in Arizona. That's Fought versus Gordon. It's the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Look at this favor here. Like, Brandon Fought hasn't had a great season. Last 30 days, though, not too bad, Tom. 7 starts, 41 and a third innings pitched, a 4.10 ERA, but a 3.79 xFIP number. He's a minus 260 favorite at some outlets right now in the marketplace, going up against Colorado in a total of 9. Why? I don't care who's in that lineup for Arizona today, Tom. They are going to hit Gordon. They are going to hit that bullpen. It's what everybody does against the Colorado Rockies.
It really is, and this is basically a spitting image of what I saw last night when I was on In-Game Live with Brady Cannon, where Eduardo Rodriguez, they were minus 220, whatever, 215, whatever it was, 9.5 total. I was like, listen, the Diamondbacks being a $2 favorite, I understand, right? Just because it's the Rockies, there's going to be so much public money moving in there. But when it's all said and done, the Diamondbacks aren't a good team. They traded away Suarez. They traded away Naylor. Their bullpen is terrible. So why would we be wanting to lay $2 or whatever it was? Yes, they won the game. But at the end of the day, the best bet to make is just simply the over. Root for runs on both sides. The pitching staffs are terrible. And we actually get some decent hitters from Colorado. And this is still a good hitter's ballpark when it's all said and done.
I'm telling you, the sneaky part about that, too, is most people look at the Colorado Rockies and just think they're a terrible team. But look at the batters in the lineup. I'm telling you right now, you won't be disappointed. Like, Brandon Fought struggles with lefties, so immediately go look at the left-handed bats. Not a lot in the lineup there. Mickey Moniak has been really good for them this year, but he's the only lefty outside of Amador. But look at just the rest of the guys in the lineup against right-handed pitching over the past month. Ezekiel Tovar, 346 weighted on base percentage. Goodman, 431. Beck, 425. Moniak, 383. Bernabel, 481. Doyle, 354. Caros, 395. And Amador there at 234. Like, ISO power numbers are high. Weighted on base percentages are high. It's like the perfect storm for, I don't think Fought's going to be a shutdown guy. Like, you just look at that total, like, yeah, it seems kind of high, but it's there for a reason. Like, Arizona should be at least 5+ runs today. You're telling me that we can't get competition on the other side for the Colorado Rockies? So don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. There are some bad baseball teams, but that doesn't mean they're not going to step up to the plate and knock in some runs. Yeah, they might lose 8-5, but you score 5 runs, Tom, that's RBI, that's knocked in base runners, everything you can ask for. More baseball handicapping next on a Sunday morning.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I was that confused trying to figure out why Cameron Young isn't as good as he should be, because we've seen all the flashes. Like at some point of his career, he's been elite at something. Like he's been elite at putting this year. He's been an elite iron player. He's been an elite driver of the golf ball. So check out this chart I had to get.
We got a chart.
Look at this chart that I had to come up with.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Every time he's there, he just finds a way, and he's going to break through. Look at Cameron Young. Cameron Young was one of those guys, too. Remember Cameron Young? Second in the Open Championship, fourth, like plays great in majors, almost won the Canadian Open again. I seen this guy play live. I'm like, how does this guy not have a win? And then last week, Kev, you saw what he did. He put his foot on your throat, wrestling style. He didn't just win, he murdered the competition last week.
Game time decisions, only on
Let's head out to San Diego here, trying to track down those Los Angeles Dodgers, a key game today, and also the Boston Red Sox trying to track down the Toronto Blue Jays here in the AL East. They're going to do battle at 4:10 today. It's Brian Vecchio going on the mound against Dylan Cease. That's the Padres and the Red Sox, 927, 928 on the rotation. A favorite here for the home team, San Diego. Overnight Tom, right around a minus 150 price, still in that marketplace right now. 152s, 148s I'm seeing across different sports books. A total, though, how about this drop? 8.5 overnight, down to 7.5. Excuse me, got that wrong. No, I'm right. 8.5 to 7.5. Craziness right now. What's going on? Any runs for the Padres today? Looks like a pitching matchup based on the odds. Goodness.
It really should be. Wow. Brian Vecchio is a pitcher that I don't want to say I was concerned about coming into the year, obviously with the injury that set him back. He's just not the pitcher that I'm like, yeah, I can trust this guy. Like an 18% strikeout rate is not high. An 8.6% walk rate is not great in my opinion, but a 57% medium contact rate and a 49.6, let's call it a 50% ground ball rate. When you look back at his game log, all he does is eat innings and he prevents runs being scored. Sure, we're going to see a couple of innings, 3 earned runs, a couple games, 3 earned runs, but he's out there for innings. He gives up a few hits, but he doesn't get damaged. Like he's never getting blown up with massive runs. Cease on the other side can really strike out hitters. We certainly know that. He can get burned by walks and the long ball, but the under, I think it makes sense. And I think Vecchio going over his outs prop, I can double check what that is. That's what I like the most. I do not see hitting in this matchup. This is a playoff type environment where both teams absolutely need to win.
By the way, Dylan Cease must be the most maddening pitcher in Major League Baseball to handicap. His last 45 days, 13 and a quarter is his K per 9, which is off the charts. I mean, you're not even putting the ball in play. But it's like one game, Tom, I'll see 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, and then I'll see 4 innings pitched, 6 earned runs given up. It's almost like I don't understand if your stuff is that good. And you're right, walks do come into play, but some hard contact just catches at the wrong time. He's one of those crazy pitchers to look at. If we look at the last 45 days for Brian Vecchio, 19th on my card today, 2.66 ERA, which is very good, but a 4.23 xFIP number. And you take a look at Cease's number, it's only a 3.13. So the better xFIP analytical guy is Dylan Cease, but boy, is he maddening to bet at this point here. San Diego Padres, Luis Arraez, Ramon Laureano, Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts over the past month have very good statistics against right-handed pitchers, which Vecchio is, but Vecchio does have pretty good stats. He just doesn't strike out a lot of guys. That's his issue, but usually in baseball, that's a big issue. And sometimes, Tom, we ask that question like, okay, soft contact, that's great. But here's where you get yourself out of trouble, which Dylan Cease can do. Oh, no. runners on second and third with nobody out. Strikeout, pop up, and away you go. Whereas if you're not a strikeout pitcher, second and third, that's a death nail. That's fly ball to right field, fly ball to left field. You're down 2-0, even if it's sacrifice flies at that point.
It really is. I've always talked about that for a number of pitchers. I'm like, oh, this isn't a guy who can, quote unquote, pitch himself out of trouble, which is what pitchers with super high strikeouts can do, which is what Cease has historically done. I had Cease on a dynasty fantasy baseball team, and I had to let him go at a certain point. Like, I know the maddening where you get like, oh, he almost had a no-hitter when he was on the White Sox, and he struck out 13 hitters. And then next time out there, it's 5 earned runs over 4 innings with 6 walks. Like, what are you doing? Because your stuff is so good. He just can never bring it at a consistent level. And frankly, the Red Sox lineup should scare even a pitcher with a 29% strikeout rate. You give them walks and extra base hits, like the Sox are going to put up runs.
Yeah, take a look at the Sox there, too. By the way, Dylan Cease's last 30 days, Tom, 83 batters he's faced. A K rate of 40%. Like, you might get that through like 10 batters, like for a reliever. 40% for a starter. Just put that in the frame. Like, if you round it up, half the batters that come up to the plate just get sat down with a strikeout and don't have any production, whether it's a base hit or just a productive out to move a base runner along. But you're right about that Boston Red Sox lineup today. If we look at the power numbers over the past month against right-handed pitching, Anthony, 174. Bregman, 191. Story, 218. Duran, 327. Gonzalez, 250. Abreu, 234. Yoshida, 200. Rafaela, 158. And Wong, 176. Like, everybody's either at that average or much higher. Same thing with the weighted on base percentages here. So you have that perfect give and take today. Cease, who can strike you out against a lineup that can do a lot of damage. Do you typically, because in Boston, it might be different. Let's just say it was 78 degrees in Boston, wind blowing out to left field. Ooh, batters have the advantage. But when you're in San Diego, the batters don't have the advantage. The pitcher has the advantage.
Yeah, honestly, this is a situation where if you look at Cease's, some books offer earned runs allowed. He could honestly go over his strikeout prop and his earned run allowed. Walk, home, 2-run homer, strikes out 3 in a row. Walk, 2-run homer, strikes out. All of a sudden, he's got 6 strikeouts, but he gave up 4 earned runs, and he's cashing both types of props.
Yeah, again, betting on him, it's like, okay, let me check the score. Oh, yeah, it's 4-1 in the 8th inning where they're cruising right now, the Padres. And it's like, oh, no, they're down 4-1 in the 3rd inning. What is Cease doing over the first 3 innings? That's just what happens sometimes. But a great baseball game and huge in the standings. Teams in second place, the Padres and the Red Sox, each need these wins to try to close their counterparts down in their respective divisions. Let's take a look at the Mariners next. They are red hot at the plate.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I was that confused trying to figure out why Cameron Young isn't as good as he should be, because we've seen all the flashes. Like at some point of his career, he's been elite at something. Like, he's been elite at putting this year. He's been an elite iron player. He's been an elite driver of the golf ball. So check out this chart I had to get.
We got a chart.
Look at this chart that I had to come up with.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Every time he's there, he just finds a way, and he's going to break through. Look at Cameron Young. Cameron Young was one of those guys, too. Remember Cameron Young? Second in the Open Championship, 4th, like, plays great in majors, almost won the Canadian Open again. I seen this guy play live. I'm like, how does this guy not have a win? And then last week, Kev, you saw what he did. He put his foot on your throat, wrestling style. He didn't just win. He murdered the competition last week.
Game time decisions, only on
Watch out for those Seattle Mariners, boys. They are heating up at the plate, something we haven't said in the past decade or so. Usually they're cooling down at the plate at this point in August and wrapping up the season as another non-Major League Baseball playoff run. Not the case this year for the M's. Let's take a look at this game today, 9:23, 9:24. Tampa Bay, Adrian Hauser will be on the mound here going up against Brian Wu of the Mariners. 4 o'clock start today. Heavy favorite for the M's. Opened up overnight, Tom, minus 180s. They're gone. Minus 190s up to minus 200s in the marketplace, but a low total of 7.5. So let's get the party started today. Tampa's in Seattle. Seattle's red hot. Does that red hotness continue today?
I think it has to. I don't know how we can look at a team like the Mariners with the lineup that they currently have and with the matchup of versus Adrian Hauser, who, granted, and credit to him, he was super solid at the beginning portion of the year, but he has slowed down significantly since then. Some of his recent game logs are absolutely terrible. So when we're looking at this lineup from top to bottom, Donnie, I think we have to go Cal Raleigh, Naylor, Suarez, and probably Polanco if you're looking for an HRR combination. Now, Brian Wu on the other side, frankly, I think he could go 6 innings, no earned runs, pile up the strikeouts versus the Rays. I'm not going to say it's a, 0 earned runs is like the guarantee for him, but like a solo shot from Brandon Lau or something wouldn't surprise me. But a 24.8% strike rate, a 4.6% walk rate is not allowing anyone on base. The home runs are there for him with 1.35 on the season, so a solo shot here or there wouldn't shock me. But Mariners win. They put up 6 runs and they win this game 6-2.
There you go. If we look at Adrian Hauser, right, on the season, he's got some pretty good statistics, but that's on the season. Let's start to get out that focal point on that microscope here. 21st on my card today, a 2.79 ERA over the past 45 days. You love that, right? Who cares about ERA? That xFIP number is a 4.28. Also, if you take a look at his game log, who had a lot of good starts here and a lot of low numbers, let's focus on his last 3. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 10 hits, and 4 runs given up. Start number 2, 6 2/3 innings pitched, only 5 hits, but still 3 earned runs. His last start against the Angels in Anaheim, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 11 hits, and 5 earned runs, and not a lot of strikeouts here. The reason I bring that up is, yes, we're going to be in a very good pitcher's ballpark, but also this. Seattle at 81-degree temperatures today. Now, it does say a 10-mile-an-hour wind blowing in from left field. If you ever watch the Seattle game, it's a retractable dome, which means that you don't have grandstands in the left field that are like 10 feet high. They go way up there, can block a lot of those line drive home runs that you see time and time again up at T-Mobile. But hear me out on this. So many times you look at the lineup, and Tom is right. There is a lot of power and a lot of great weighted on-base percentages here. But if you just go back to the last month in Major League Baseball for the Seattle Mariners lineup that we anticipate today, going up against right-handed pitching, the hard contact rate and the barrel rate, Tom. If we start with the barrel rate, right, like 10% is really good in Major League Baseball. Arozarena, 16%. Cal Raleigh, 17%. Rodriguez, 14%. Naylor, 13%. Suarez, 18%. Polanco, 12%. Canzone, 17%. Cole Young, 9.4%. 8 of the 9 batters, at least right around that 10 or higher. Hard hit contact rate, every single guy in the lineup makes hard contact over the past 30 days against right-handed pitching. Like, you can't guarantee things will happen, but I know where Tom's going with 6, which is way higher than their team total. Like, those should be the anticipations today. Like, Hauser, good pitcher, leaking oil. Mariners, red hot, hard contact barrel rate through the roof. Only downfall, it is a pitcher's ballpark. But again, 80-degree temperatures in Seattle, that's like the equivalent of 100 degrees in New York.
It really is. Like, and, the thing I would say in this scenario is like, hey, the Mariners are hot, like you said, but like, if not now, when? Like, if you can't come through when you're this hot at the plate and you can't come through against this type of pitcher, like, what other type of matchup would you be doing against? Because he's struggling right now. This is like, as we always talk about, like, this is the perfect puzzle piece. Like, the Mariners are doing exactly what we want against Hauser, who is struggling with exactly what the Mariners are good at. If not now, when?
Yeah, different pitcher, different team coming to town, too, because, his first start of the season, Tom, Hauser, was against Seattle. May the 20th, 6 innings pitched, no earned runs given up here. Revenge could be the best dish, and serving cold today for the boys. We'll see if that happens. Let's get to the Dodgers. Warmer temperatures there as well. It's Toronto, and it's L.A. It's Lauer, the lefty, going to go up against Tyler Glass now. 9:29, 9:30 on the rotation, a 4:10 start. How about this favorite? 190s overnight for the Dodgers. Dropping slightly here. 185s, 186s in the marketplace. A total of 9, Tom, drops down to 8.5. Lauer, Glass now in L.A.
This is a really, really interesting matchup. So Eric Lauer last year didn't pitch in the majors. He pitched in the KBO because in 2023 he was terrible. He had an ERA at 6.5. His xFIP was 5.58. This year in 18 games or 18 games overall, and you look back since April, 12 games started, I should say. One time he's allowed 3 earned runs. Every other start, he's been at 2 earned runs or fewer. He has been sensational this year. And I'll be honest, I faded him the majority of the starts just because I don't think he's a good pitcher. And you look at some of his underlying metrics, he shouldn't be a good pitcher. So the question becomes has all this just been smoke and mirrors, and or he's still a bad pitcher? And will the Dodgers lineup actually come through and prove that he's not a good pitcher? Because Donnie, some of his numbers are unbelievable. At 2.59 ERA, he has a sub-4 xFIP at 3.91. Now, on the other side, much of the same can be said about Glasnow, who we know is a very good pitcher, but he's obviously doesn't have a big sample size. I will say in his 3 recent starts, 101, 84, and 106 pitches. So at least I'm confident that he has the length to get deeper in the game to flex the 12 and 7 strikeouts that we know we can get from him. So I understand where the money line is what it is for the Dodgers. They're always going to be super heavy favorites, but 184 is just a bit much for me when Lauer has vastly exceeded expectations on the other side.
He really has. Like, his K rate's decent over the past 30 days. Doesn't walk anybody. Doesn't give up power ISO-wise. He is a fly ball pitcher, which will get you in trouble. But some of the big things we talk about, because barrel rates go both ways, Tom. Barrel rate on the season for Lauer, 315 batters he's faced, 6%. Last 30 days, 2.8%. To lefties, it's a 0 over the past month here. So if you're not giving up barrels, you're probably not giving up home runs here. And it's not a great-looking lineup, contrary to what we believe on a day-to-day basis for the Dodgers up against left-handed pitching. They haven't hit left-handed pitching all that well over the past month. Positives, 84 degrees, 8-mile-an-hour wind blowing out, no marine layer in the afternoon in Los Angeles. We'll see if that ball certainly does travel and carry. Game tonight, Shota Imanaga versus Sonny Gray. Battle of the aces on the mound. That's the Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. 907, 908 on the rotation, a 7:10 start. Favorite here, slightly towards the Cubs. Overnight, -120, still sitting at around a -120 price, and an 8 across the board. Imanaga Gray, Cubs, Cards.
This is one of the games where I wish it was different pitchers. I wish it was in Chicago. I wish there was wind blowing out in Chicago. I wish there was so many different things where I'm almost just saying, like, under and move on. Like, I respect Sonny Gray and Imanaga enough that the pitching matchup, the hitting matchups don't exceed the pitching matchups. And the Cubs have been struggling a whole lot at the plate outside of yesterday's results. Like, they just haven't been playing a whole lot of great baseball, which is why we've seen them lose the division lead. Obviously, the Brewers have been playing fantastic, but like, they're hit Kyle Tucker and PCA. Like, they aren't having these explosive games as we saw in the first half of the season. Like, we're getting good stuff out of Happ and Michael Busch and Swanson in games, but it's not all together. And I respect Sonny Gray enough that they could come through with the win, and this game ends like 2-1, 3-2, really on either side. And the same thing can be said about the Cardinals, who just don't have a good lineup overall. And Imanaga's a good enough pitcher to kind of keep them quiet tonight, and we just don't see runs being scored. So under before anything tonight.
86-degree temperatures, wind blowing out slightly to the left field, about 5 to 6 miles an hour. So good hitting environment tonight. If we do take a look at the pitching matchups over the past 45 days, like Sonny Gray, 8 starts, 43 2/3 innings pitched. Here's the catch, right? A 5.15 ERA. Oh, he's going to get blown away. His xFIP's 2.49. So we talk about getting unlucky at that point to the max. That's certainly what it is at this point. Then you take a look at Shota Imanaga. He's a little bit further down that chart, Tom, with xFIP, but his last 8 starts, 44 2/3 innings pitched over 45 days. That's a 3.43 ERA, but a 4.26 xFIP number. So looking at a spot, maybe a slight dog could creep in there for the Cardinals. Maybe so. I don't love this game moving forward, but sometimes you look at the two pitchers, like, they'll probably be in form, but it is good hitting weather. It is a night game. Cardinals don't anticipate much, but you're talking about, you're going to know the end result of that Milwaukee Mets game. Maybe more pressure for the Cubs than they knew of tonight as well, Tom.
It really does come into play. We're at that point in the season where scoreboard watching has an effect. 5-6 games back all of a sudden can turn to 8. You have to be fighting for a wild card at that spot. Important time of the year.
Absolutely important time of the year. You know what else is important? Next 2 segments coming up, which starts with Sell Me Something. The picks. They're on the way next.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I was that confused trying to figure out why Cameron Young isn't as good as he should be, because we've seen all the flashes. Like at some point of his career, he's been elite at something. Like he's been elite at putting this year. He's been an elite iron player. He's been an elite driver of the golf ball. So check out this chart I had to get.
We got a chart.
Look at this chart that I had to come up with.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Every time he's there, he just finds a way, and he's going to break through. Look at Cameron Young. Cameron Young was one of those guys, too. Remember Cameron Young? Second in the Open Championship, fourth, like plays great in majors, almost won the Canadian Open again. I seen this guy play live. I'm like, how does this guy not have a win? And then last week, Kev, you saw what he did. He put his foot on your throat, wrestling style. He didn't just win, he murdered the competition last week.
Game time decisions, only on
SportsGrid Network kicking off on a Sunday morning. No better place to be than pro baseball today. Right here, Donnie Rightside and Tom Vecchio. And by the way, did you see all the hot topics we gave you? Did you see all of every single game handicapped all the way through today on the card? And we'd love to sort of sit back and say, all right, let's sort of get that focused measure on where we should be sending the people. And I always like to start with this, Tom. When we have sell me something, that means, you know what? Somebody's players, some teams that you might be looking at and maybe overlooking, send the people down the right path here, the yellow brick road, towards that pot of gold here. Where are you going on Sell Me Something today?
Yeah, let's go to a different route. Jack Kohanowitz, 7+ hits allowed at plus 180.
Yeah.
And this is just like normally Sell Me is like, maybe 2 RBIs, 3 RBIs, couple extra total bases, blah, blah, blah. Jack Kohanowitz, 7+ hits allowed at plus 180. Going up against the Detroit Tigers, obviously no. Kohanowitz has not been good as of late. 9, 8, 6, 5, 6 hits allowed in some of his recent starts. Again, we talked about this. He's not a big strikeout pitcher. He walks too many guys. The ball is in play. The hard contact is all there. There is a scenario where he goes 3 innings and he gives up 5 earned runs over 6 hits with a couple of walks, sack flies, errors, wherever it might be, and he's out of the game just because it's 5 earned runs in 3 innings and he just doesn't have enough time to give up 7 hits. That's the only way I see him losing. I don't see him losing because he goes 6 innings and gives up 1 earned run and is actually absolutely spectacular. The only way he gets pulled is because of it's early, but the hits will be there for the Tigers in a great matchup.
It's like you want that slow bleed, right, Tom? Like, he can give up 5 runs. Give him up over 5 innings. Like, give him 1 in the first, 1 in the third, maybe 2 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, but gets out of it. His pitch count's still low, comes back out there, but all along giving up those hits as well. The ones you hate are like, he only went 2/3 of an inning and gave up 6 hits. It's like, oh, man, come on. Like, I just needed a few more, but he was so bad you had to pull him from the baseball game. We've certainly seen that happen before, but Kohanowitz should get hit today, and rightfully so. Not a strikeout pitcher, which means that ball is going to be in play. We'll see what happens. For me, I'm going to go down and also take the Philadelphia Phillies game and say, Donnie's going with the Philadelphia Phillies batter or pitcher. No, he's not. It's going against them today. Do I think the Phillies win with Zach Wheeler? Probably so. But I have to be honest. You watch Phillies games sometime, they do like to strike out. Patrick Corbin, resurgent this year in his career as a lefty. His last 30 days in Major League Baseball time, how about a 27% K rate for the lefty? If we look at the last 5 games, 6 Ks, 6 Ks, 7 Ks, 6 Ks, but then only 3 Ks in his last start against the New York Yankees. The reason I like that, too, is he's rested. Only 3 innings pitched and 18 total batters in that game. He should go 5+ innings. If I'm looking at the Philadelphia Phillies lineup today over the past 30 days against lefties here, Schwarber, 42% strikeout rate. Castellanos, 38%. Real Muto, 35%. Sosa, 35%. Kemp, 32%. Harrison Bader, 35%. It's a lot of Ks in that lineup today. I need 6, but also, if I wanted to give a play out to the people here and sell me something, same way as you, Tom, plus 180, we got to go plus money here. I went plus 112 to sort of up the ante just a little bit. I think there's a really good chance Corbin goes 5 innings and gets 6 strikeouts today and can cash in that plus 112 price. So there's some pitchers props today, Tom, for the plus for us today.
Absolutely got to bank on a little bit of variance in, good and bad ways for pitchers, but we have some more props to keep giving out.
Let's go, man. Pitchers props, Tom. Roll them off the assembly line. What you got here, huh?
Let's go to Zach Littell, over 4.5 strikeouts at plus 104. You look at him overall in the season, you say, okay, he's not a big strikeout pitcher. Overall in the year, he's coming with a 17.2% strikeout rate. He has a good matchup going up against Pittsburgh. They have a 22.7% strikeout rate versus right-handed pitching. That is the 7th highest in the league. We look to his recent starts. We're getting 8, 4, 4, 5. Yeah, a couple starts at 3 or 2. However, every single start since April, he's pitched at least 5 innings. So he's really never getting blown up too bad. So the length will always be there for him to get deeper into the game. With the plus matchup he has going up against the Pirates, I think we will start to see that 4, 5, 6 type of range. I don't see him falling at 2 or 3. If we lose, it's going to be losing by the hook, but we're going for plus money today on 2 different props. We should be in a good spot.
I like it, man. I like it. And how about this? Like sometimes I just look at numbers and say, this number doesn't make any sense. Let me do some math on why I should be betting or at least going contrarian on a certain prop bet today. And that prop bet's going to lie with Mackenzie Gore. If we line him up over his last 30 days, Tom, 85 batters he's faced. He's got an 11.8% K rate, which is terrible. He's got an ISO against of 348 and a weighted on base percentage of 520. Terrible. You can't look for him. You can't have him. Hear me out on this. The San Francisco Giants don't hit left-handed pitching all that well, and they've been dreadful against it over the past 30 days. But then you also take a look, Tom, and say, well, let me go back to a game log for Mackenzie Gore. His last 4 starts, Tom, 2 Ks, 4 Ks, 4 Ks, and 0 Ks. So you go, oh, man, it's going to be a Donnie special, under 3.5 Ks today. No. Did you know Mackenzie Gore's prop today, Tom, is 5.5 strikeouts, and it's juiced at the 5.5 strikeouts at minus 122? He said, that's ridiculous. Who would do that? It's the easiest bet in history to go under. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you a little bit of that caveat, letting you know how bad San Francisco is. It's a pitcher's ballpark, but also on the season for Mackenzie Gore. How about this? A 3.15 ERA and a 3.40 xFIP number and a K rate on the road here for us at 11.05 per 9 innings. You say, Don, he didn't even get a strikeout in his last game. You're going for 6. He never gets that. I'm telling you, Tom, I'm going contrarian today with my boy Gore out on the West Coast.
What did I say about the Mariners? If not now, when? It's the same thing for Mackenzie Gore. Like, if he can't get it going today against the Giants, you might as well just shut him down for the final 6 weeks of the season, get him ready for next year.
Shutting it down here today. Now, we do have Tom's Bombs and Donnie's Dingers coming up, but I don't want to shortchange that here. We have another segment to go, but other prop bets that we do like today in the market, Tom. Did you have any, though? Did you want to throw one of those out here? Did you screen up? You're saving everything, putting it in your back pocket?
I got another 3 hours of IGL, so there'll be plenty more picks there from 1 to 4.
Oh, so you're saying you don't care about this show, you care about IG Live better, huh? Note to self. We'll send it up to the higher-ups right here. But I got you covered, and I think Tom will co-sign this as well. We think there's going to be runs right off the bat for the Twins. How about this? The 1-8 plus HRR market. Donnie, what is that? Again, it's easy explanation. Each hitter to get any combination of a hit, score a run, or get an RBI will cash his leg. I said, you know what? Let me put a cluster together of the Kansas City Royals who I think will get runs today. Vinny Pasquantino, Michael Garcia, and Salvador Perez, each to get 1 plus HRR at a minus 105 price, Tom. Can I at least get a cosign on that today?
100%, because one of those players are in the home run segment, which is coming up next. So I absolutely want to see that come through.
There we go. Royals runs at this, having some fun. Now, the next segment here, before we get out of here, Tom's Dingers, or excuse me, did I get that wrong? Tom's Bomb, Donnie's Dingers, and also Barking Dogs, baby, to send you on your way. Only today, always today, on a Sunday right on Pro Baseball Today.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I was that confused trying to figure out why Cameron Young isn't as good as he should be, because we've seen all the flashes. Like at some point of his career, he's been elite at something. Like he's been elite at putting this year. He's been an elite iron player. He's been an elite driver of the golf ball. So check out this chart I had to get.
We got a chart.
Look at this chart that I had to come up with.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Every time he's there, he just finds a way, and he's going to break through.
Unreal.
Look at Cameron Young. Cameron Young was one of those guys, too. Remember Cameron Young? Second in the Open Championship, fourth, like plays great in majors, almost won the Canadian Open again. I seen this guy play live. I'm like, how does this guy not have a win? And then last week, Kev, you saw what he did. He put his foot on your throat, wrestling style. He didn't just win; he murdered the competition last week.
Game time decisions, only on
Bombs away, people, as we get it going into our Sunday card. In just about an hour, you have action on that diamond. You can watch it play out, hopefully put more money into your pocket. Tom, give me three people that are leaving the yard today, in your opinion.
Yeah, let's start off with the future AL Rookie of the Year, Nick Kurtz, going up against Kate Povich. This is a lefty-lefty matchup, but I'm not too worried about it. Kurtz still has a 200 ISO versus lefties overall in the season. We look to Kate Povich. He's absolutely terrible versus lefties, 2.04 home runs per nine allowed to left-handed hitters this year. That's due to a 47.9% fly ball rate and a 35% hard contact rate allowed. Let's then turn to the Royals with Vinny Pasquantino going up against Jose Urena. Of course, is another matchup we'd like. Versus righties this year, Vinny P, 43% fly ball rate. He's got 32% hard contact rate. It's a little bit lower, but does have a solid 184 ISO. Obviously, Urena is terrible, allowing 2.63 home runs per nine versus lefties. We absolutely like that. And then let's turn to Andrew Vaughn of the Milwaukee Brewers up at 425, going up against Sean Manaea. We look to Vaughn this year versus versus lefties this year. 43 fly ball rate, 36% hard contact rate, which we love. It's only a 141 ISO. I understand that's not amazing by any stretch, but Sean Manaea over a 200 ISO or nearly a 200 ISO allowed versus righties this year. The power is there for Vaughn, and we have a great spot for him.
Let's go, Vaughn. Three bombs there. Look, let's grab one of those, man. You are living the good life here. Switch it over for me. Donnie's Dingers say got a three-pack here. Going to start early in the day with Kansas City. I do like that lineup a lot. Salvador Perez, last 72 at-bats going up against right-handed pitching. That's a 333 ISO and a 440 weighted on base percentage. Urania's probably going to go 2 or 3 innings, so you're figuring multiple at-bats against random right-handed pitchers here for Salvador Perez. He's going to get that done. Now, if we flip it over to Seattle, let's take a look at, how about this? Julio Rodriguez, apologize. A 310 ISO power number and a 395 weighted on base percentage of his last 76 at-bats against right-handed pitching. Who comes to town? Adrian Hauser with that ultra-low K percentage here. Make contact, Julio. Get me into that outfield here. And then we're going to save it up. And sometimes you say, you know what? The price point isn't great. And always take a look at those price points. The book just doesn't want you on these. Did you know Corbin Carroll's homered in 3 straight ball games right now? We're going to make it 4. Why? His last 52 at-bats against right-handed pitching, a 283 ISO, a 342 weighted on base percentage. He's probably going to get 6 at-bats, even though today, Tom, he is with the home team here. I expect another home run for him. Make it 4 in a row. That's at a plus 250 price. So plus 350, plus 560, plus 250 for me in the home run marketplace here as we go along. Now, Tom, This is where we get to the big news, the madness. Whose dogs are barking out there? Bombs away. We gave it to you. A six-pack right there, Tommy. Who is your big dog, baby? Who is it today? Ooh, look at that price.
Look at this price. The Houston Astros at plus 176. Like I said, there is no doubt that on paper, Max Fried is a better pitcher compared to Jason Alexander. As we discussed when we handicapped that game, Max Fried has been struggling a bit in these recent games. But seeing the Yankees as over a $2 favorite with the struggles that they've had, again, in the combination of pitching, offense, defense, and then bullpen, if we want to break down the different types of pitching, there is no reason the Yankees should be a $2 favorite. As we talked about, should be like minus 150, somewhere around there. So to get a good Houston Astros team at a nearly $2 price at 176, we have to be interested in this. Despite the fact that Alexander, I expect him to give up 4 or 5 runs, the Astros should be able to do their part and get those runs across the board, because at a certain point, we just have a chance to play the other side of the Yankees, get them at plus money. If the Astros jump out to a lead, we got plus money on both sides. We cash a winner automatically.
Big tickets right there to plus 176. Love to see it there. Can the Astros hang on? They should have hung on yesterday. Couldn't. Bullpen gave it up. Yankees secured that one. We'll see what happens today in the Bronx. I'm going to Sunday night baseball tonight. It's going to be simple for me. I'm going to take the Cardinals. Why? They're the home team. I think they have the better pitcher and a slightly better price there than laying a minus 110 or minus 115. Plus 104 price today for the Cardinals. You take a look at Sonny Gray. Last 43 and 2/3 innings pitched. Tom, high ERA, but really low xFIP. He comes to pitch tonight. The Cardinals come away with a victory. How you like them apples? Hey, if we combine them, Tom, it's plus 180. Making myself feel a little bit better with your plus 176. How about that?
Not too bad. We had 2 dogs that are in good spots to come away with a win. And even though the pitchers on the other side are good, not as good as you may think.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what was really good. That show today, 2 hours, people. We hit every single game on the card. We updated you on our thoughts on each and every divisional race, gave you some best bet winners, whether it's home run props and or pitching props, or just selling you something on something you need to pay attention to. You got about an hour time right now before we get to Major League Baseball action. Make those opinions, get those bets out there, and cash some tickets. For Tom Vecchio and Donnie Rightside and everybody behind the scenes, it includes Sammy. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Sunday. Care where you were drafted. You outperform somebody, you're going to be on that football field. Now, again, there are extenuating circumstances where you draft a quarterback number 3 overall. Yeah, they're going to try him out for the next 3 to 4 years, even if he's not as good as anybody on that roster. But from Shadur's perspective, that's probably the case. Tyler Huntley, Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of names on that list, not a lot of good names on that list, so he can earn a job on this football team.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Becoming just harder in general to do business from a money standpoint in general, let alone the competition. So yeah, Betfred closing up shop will be gone by tomorrow. We'll see if any sportsbook fills this void. It'll mean that there's a license up for grabs in Pennsylvania, which is one of the biggest states for sports betting and is home to a lot of other operators. At this point, we're getting to a time when no one's rushing into the market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I was that confused trying to figure out why Cameron Young isn't as good as he should be, because we've seen all the flashes. Like at some point of his career, he's been elite at something. Like he's been elite at putting this year. He's been an elite iron player. He's been an elite driver of the golf ball. So check out this chart I had to get.
We got a chart.
Look at this chart that I had to come up with.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay. I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts